Hey, happy New Year's to everybody. Welcome back to VIOC in action. Oh my goodness, this is 2020. Yes, I give thanks to the Most High. This is 2020, and we are back here in VIOC in action with a very, very special show, just like any other show. Like I tell you guys, man, this is an exciting year, because we have Tokyo 2020, which is in Japan. This year is Olympics. So we have Olympics coming up in just a couple of months. I remember, well, a year ago we was like, yeah, man, Olympics are around the corner, but no, it's really coming. It's literally coming this summer here, and we have, well, we should have a good amount of qualifications from our Virgin Island national teams. So as we get the qualifiers, I'll have them on the show, and we could be able to talk to them and see how their experience is going on the road to Tokyo. But today, guess what? Today we got a very special guest. We have an Olympian from our last Olympics, which is back in Rio 2020. And I think today's show gonna be pretty cool. So, like I said, this is VIOC in action. This is your number one stop place for all the Olympic committee, our Olympian athletes, our national athletes, whatever the news is, whatever's going on. This is your one stop shop for for our Virgin Island national athletes information. So today's show, we have a special guest. Like I said, I kind of excited today because this is like the first show of the new year. Like we really in 2020, and we both started out perfectly right. So what else best way to start it off? Like start it off in the water, cause that's how the thing to go. So we have special guest Caylee Watson. She's a swimmer for our national team from the swimming association. Mrs. Watson, let me hear you, Mrs. Watson. You hear me there?
Yes,
All
I can hear
right, all
you.
right. There you go, there you go. So how is everything?
Everything's good, you know. I was just in St. Croix and I for 3 weeks, which was really nice, and now I'm back in school in Washington D.C. But I think I brought the warm weather. It was like 80 degrees here yesterday.
See, that's a good thing because I too. Well, yeah, that's right. We met in Saint Croix. It was great that we was there doing the carnival. So cruising carnival, you cannot go wrong with that at all.
No, not at
Um,
all.
so wait, so since this is my first time hearing from you, or at least meeting you, I'm pretty sure some of the other locals probably don't even know who you are. So we're gonna start it off just saying, who is Mrs. Watson? So where are you from?
Well, I was born in Philadelphia, and
Okay.
then I moved to St. Croix when I was a young kid in 2005. I
Mm-hmm.
went to Country Day, um, and then I went to American University for my undergrad, and now I'm in law school there as well.
Okay, okay. So we got a good track record. So let me say, moving down to the Virgin Islands as a youth, how was that experience? Because you literally move into like a brand new place where you like leaving all the big buildings in the states, and then you
Yeah.
come down and you realize like the biggest building is probably like four stories, maybe 3 stories. So how was that?
I at first, I came in the summer, so I was a young kid with no friends in the summer, and then school started back up, and it was fantastic. I love growing up in St. Croix. You never. I've never. I'm still best friends with all the friends that I made my first year.
Yeah.
First year of fifth grade. I'm still friends with all those people. They're like my family. I played a lot of sports. I played soccer all year round, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
The weather makes that easy, but I loved it. I loved growing up there.
See, that's why I always tell people like the Virgin Islands is a good place to train because, well, outside of our winter sports athletes, because we have a couple. Well, it's always sunny in the Virgin Islands, and the weather is great, average 86 degrees all year, and you get to come down. We have, well, especially in St. Croix, space. We got space for everything. So pick your sport, and it's space for it to happen. Now, we might not have a lot of people involved into those particular sports, but we definitely have it as a great place to train. And
That's true.
so let me see. So wait, so you are a swimmer. So how
hmm
did you even get into swimming? When did you get into swimming?
I was kind of old. I was 12.
Oh, you're a late
I
bloomer, man.
Yeah, I was old for swimmers. Swimmers usually start when they're like 6.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, I was a soccer player. I played basketball. I played a bunch of different sports. And my mom was like, I want you to do this for me. Just join the team so I know that you can swim well and I don't have to worry about you when you're at the beach or, doing anything like that. So I joined and I got good pretty quickly. So I just kind of stuck to it. And I knew that swimming's a really good sport to do from the islands just because it's a time, it's based off your
It's
time.
based
So
off
so
time, right?
so I knew that it made sense. I guess if I wanted to do a sport in college, it made sense to stick with swimming if I was good at it because I knew that it's easier to be recruited in a sport like swimming than soccer or something like that.
See, so you have the same idea or theory that I have because I myself ran track and field, and we call it an individual sport, but I think it's a team
Yeah.
sport because everybody does their part. And my thing was the only person you have on your team is the time or distance. So you yourself have to put in the hard work to particularly qualify for these next events or whatever track meets. I mean, swim meets that you want to go to.
Mhm.
So every and especially being on St. Croix, it's like well the talent is what the talent is. So we don't have many people coming in from the outside that where we could pretty much give us some competition. So
Right.
when you say okay, well you gotta do 100. I think you did the 100-meter backstroke.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so 100-meter backstroke. What's the average time in that?
What's the what time in it? I'm sorry.
Your average time. What's a good average time in a 100-meter backstroke?
For who? For a world class athlete or
For for let's just say a college athlete.
for a college athlete? Okay. So in college they actually swim yards.
Okay.
And it's a little bit so the times are a little different than like what I swam at the Olympics.
Okay.
But a good time would be probably like I would say between D3 and D1 a minute is like an average decent time for a
Okay.
100 back.
So we got 60 seconds, right? So that's college. So ideally, when you get into the elite, which is FINA, I'm assuming FINA is where you
Yeah.
guys qualify. So in FINA, you will want to get under 60 seconds. So your time now is like, okay, let me see if I get to 55 seconds and possibly 50 seconds. So whatever time, what's okay? So what's Olympic time now?
So well, okay, so that the 60 seconds is like the yards time. I think that would convert to like I don't know, maybe a 110, 112, 100
Okay.
meter time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like I think the Olympic qualifying time is like a 103 or something like that. 102, 103.
All right, so you pretty much have to, from college to professional, you want to go 10 seconds faster. So you want to
I
get at
mean,
least
yeah,
closer. All right.
definitely. And
So,
those people, people in college, they are like the people who swim in American colleges. Like a big majority do go that fast. Like there's probably like there's. I mean, the U.S. is full of tons of fast people who all go very quick times. But there's so many people that swim that you have people who also go like 120 in college swimming.
hmm but here what? Your benefit came in because you're from the Virgin Islands. So, as
Correct.
well as those athletes that have to compete against each other in the States to get on the team, you was like, what? All I gotta do is swim what? 110 or one? Man, I good man.
Well, yeah, I got to go faster than 110, and
Well,
that's like a good enough to swim in college. I,
okay,
I went a 105,
so
and
one
that
flat.
was decent enough.
Okay, see, and but that's the part that I like to explain to a lot of our young athletes is that in the Virgin Islands, yes, we're still US, but we represent the Virgin Island flag. And there's not a lot of competitors here, so you got a really good chance of making it to the Olympics or Pan American Games or the World Championship Games because your competition is lower.
Yeah,
You don't have the
absolutely.
no. You still are your competition low, but you still have to perform at an elite timing or elite speed. So, but you don't have that much people that could beat you out. And the person that you find
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
your country that can beat you out, you guys are gonna be the best training partners ever because you guys gonna go against each other, and you know he's like you guys gonna make each other better.
Yeah, no, and exactly, and it kind of makes sense too. Like I know before I went to college, we have great facilities and everything, but we don't have the competition that they have in the states. Not just from not just looking at it as, oh, I need to beat that person to go to the Olympics, but also like competition is a really good thing. It's really good to it makes people faster. So we don't really have that element in, especially as you're younger. I had to travel to Puerto Rico to get that. I had to travel to the States to get that kind of competition. So it makes sense that it's a little easier, especially with resources and things like that too. I mean, they
Hmm.
have incredible things in the States that, you know, tons of really new equipment and things like that we don't always have access to on the island. So it does it makes I appreciate that we have our own Olympic team.
Nah, that's good because so as you just mentioned, we don't have much here in the Virgin Islands, but even for you to still be able to qualify with not having all the great facilities and equipment that they have in the states. So imagine if you grew up at a national training center, which where's the swimming national training center? Is that in
Colorado.
Colorado, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, cause Sands. Remember Sands? That's his name, right?
Yeah,
Sands is
yeah, Sonny's, yeah.
yeah. He go to Denver. I think he go to Denver State or I forgot what school he go to. But we'll have him back
Oh,
on the show.
Adriel, yeah, yeah, yeah. He goes to Denver. He has nice facilities.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So he's from here, and he gets to train there. Was like, oh my goodness, like man, I'm in the best of the best. But
Yeah.
imagine those other athletes that's here that don't have the opportunity that goes into some of those facilities. They literally got like a pool, an ocean, and it's like, okay, I gotta go
Yeah.
here, and this is how it is, and they're gonna dig deep, and that's what I think. That's the beauty part of. I'm not saying that I don't mind to be in a nice facility and get all the great training, but when it kind of worth, I think it feel like you just tried that much harder because you just had a harder time to get to where you're at, and it
It,
make it
yeah.
worthwhile, you know.
It takes a lot of grit and mental strength because I mean, when I got to college, it was so much easier to like just train because you have the people around you and just the motivation of and the energy coming off of your teammates and of course, like I love my teammates in the VI, but I'm the only girl my age who was training at that time, So like, I, it's hard. It's hard. Not. I had to race, people who don't necessarily swim the same things as me and don't
Hmm.
necessarily go the same times as me, and aren't even really that close in age range. Like I think the next person below me was like 4 years younger than me.
Yep,
So
a
it's
whole
just
different age group.
right. So it is harder in that respect.
You see, so that is difficult, but I think that gives you a different mental part of training because it's like, man, like if I don't have the competition here, so now for you have to challenge against that girl that was 4 years younger than you, you'll have to give her a head start of like 20 meters.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the
But
opposite if we're doing different events. But yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah. No, it
so
makes sense.
so but that's a great concept to like, okay, well, we don't have it, but she can become you in 20 meters, and now you're like, okay, if I catch her, I'm on point. If I don't catch her, then I work harder.
Exactly.
And we same thing with me. As I was a jumper and runner. Um, well, you'll as running, you run 100 meters. You already running a whole second faster than everybody. A second is like 10 meters. Um, you literally have to put people a whole 30 steps in front of you and like, all right, well, on your mark, get set, and just go. And it's like, but that's how you had to train. I spent a lot of
Yeah.
my early college back home days coming back home to St. Croix on complex and racing against middle schoolers and high school kids and putting them 40 meters in front of me. But that's what I had to do.
Yeah, you make it work. You make it
You
work. You
got
come
it.
up with really clever things and you
Oh
make it work.
man, I'm telling you that. But I think that was fun because I would always go back to school, and they was like, "Man, Hunt, like, how did you get so like? How are you able to do this?" I'm like, "Man, you guys have no idea." Like, I would hope for one of the kids when I was in college to come back home to St. Croix and see me train. I don't think they could
Yeah.
be able to make it. You know.
I brought some people down actually one time, and they were like, I don't know if they were surprised or just excited, but they were definitely. I don't think they expected like our training facilities or just like how how I grew up. It was easier for them to understand why when I got to college everything was so different for me.
So let me ask you a question though, because a lot of times when you leave something so hard and you go something so easy or easier, then your hard work start to reduce a little bit. So now you get there, then you stop working as hard because now you like, well, I'm gonna just fit in with everybody. Did that happen to you too?
So for me, kind of. So I got to college, right,
Mm-hmm.
and every I we didn't train as much in back home as we did in college. So it was like I would say 10 to 15 more hours a week of training.
Oh yeah, that's a
I
whole different.
Yeah, I was just, oh my gosh, it was so difficult for me, especially the first month and doing that on top of school. I told myself, I was like, I'm going to give and it was D1 training. So, I mean, I could expect that. But I was really just perplexed by it all. So I told myself, just my goal is going to be to make the conference team, and that's going to be my goal. And if I essentially just did everything right at practice, and I surprised myself. I not only made the conference team, but I was able to be like one of the best performers on the team. I dropped, I think, like 6 seconds my first year.
Oh wow.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I dropped a ton of time just my first year, and without changing anything except for the additional yardage. And then, okay, well, I changed my stroke, but like by not doing anything extra, it was just the college aspect of it all.
Right. So it's funny because I just tell people if you just become bigger, stronger, faster, or just training the real basics, that's already gonna make you a better athlete anyway. Like
Right.
you don't really necessarily have to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't change some things, but if you just do the basics, the very fundamentals of it, that you are gonna become a better athlete. I heard everybody that came on the show that went from high school to college because they went to the weight room or start training more,
Mm-hmm.
everything just started to drop. And I was like, yeah, you didn't even learn any new techniques or anything. It was
No.
just base training.
Right.
You
And then,
know?
of course, like the technique changes as you go on. Like my sophomore year, I didn't just have that fresh energy of being a freshman, and it wasn't as easy. I had to put in a little more thought into everything. I really focused on changing up my technique so I didn't get injured and so I could be more efficient. In the weight room, I stepped it up. It wasn't just about showing up to practice and like making it through the grueling schedule. It was about
Mm-hmm.
like, well, how can I make myself good, like really good here?
See, but I think that's because you came from an area. So that's, I always think, so when you come from an area like the Virgin Islands, right? And then you get to those places, like you have so much more to offer, and you could become more disciplined than
Yes.
some of the other people that's there. Although I'm not saying that the other teammates is not as disciplined, but it's something very unique and special about literally being from a small island in the middle of nowhere, and you
Yeah.
go into the main line and it's like, yeah, like I'm gonna come here. Like you just start doing stuff that's like, what? I didn't know I had this inside of me. Like no, like you just got the urge to push, to want more,
Right.
and become, because it's like, oh shoot, like you actually figured out like, oh, I could actually do this, like for real. Yeah.
I had the exact same thoughts. It's so funny you say that. And I've thought about this a lot, and I think it comes from the difference between like athletes from the VI and athletes from the states. I think there's a lot of expectation from athletes in the states that like things are going to just happen. They're just going to happen for them. They've always had nice facilities. They've always had access to great coaches. They've always had, you know, the places to eat right after practice, just like right
Oh
next to them. I don't
man.
know, just things like that, but
What?
little things. And like we come in and we haven't really had access to all of those things. So we don't really
Mm-hmm.
expect everything to come easy to us. We know that there has to be like some grit and some like lots of effort and mental like strength to get through it. So I think we do put in that extra effort that I can honestly say I don't really see from a lot of from I
Nah.
didn't really see as much from my teammates.
Hey, I'm not saying that. It sounds like you're saying that they're more privileged, but I'm just saying I'm. That's all I'm hearing. So
That's
teammates out
not.
there, huh?
Yeah, it's not really what I mean. Yeah, I don't want to like say,
No,
but
but
I
it's
don't mean it as a,
I don't
you know.
right, not in a negative way, but it is
Yeah,
it really is like that. And just not in your sport, in my sport, in all this in soccer and basketball, in team sport, you just find out when you're an individual leaving the Virgin Islands. Or I can vouch for the Caribbean because all my Caribbean athletes or teammates, when I was in school, we all was the best. Like we
yeah,
all worked much more harder because we just know like what man, we never had none of this stuff. What you mean? Like,
yeah,
in St. Croix, as soon as 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock hit, ain't no place to go eat. And then in the
yeah.
States, you like, what? Ah, this thing 24 hours? What you mean? Like, ah, man, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I mean,
So,
even just like access to the showers, like we used to like after practice we would shower like with the hose off outside
you see,
versus
and
like
that
a
was normal.
beautiful locker room.
Yeah, you like, oh my goodness, like this not wait, this not a hotel, right? Like, nah, is this a spa? Nah, this is just a
Yeah.
locker room, man. But I tell you what, man, let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back in VIOC action, talking to Miss Watson about her experience as a Virgin Island swimmer. All right. Hey, welcome back to VIOC action. Happy New Year's to everybody. I'm going to keep on saying it again because this is 2020. So glad to hear and see from everybody. And if I didn't say it already, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And good, happy New Year's 2020. We live in the building with your boy, Mr. Ross Books, better known as Mr. Leon Hunt. One time for the one time, can't cool, can't quench. Mrs. Watson, what going on? Everything safe or what, my girl?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Man, I'm glad to have you here talking about your experiences coming from St. Croix, transitioning into Division One, which is, I mean, division. I mean, you leaving the NAIA Division Three, D2, and D1 is nothing like D1. And that's like the real deal. I remember. Let me ask you a question. In D1, did you experience at national? Did you go to nationals?
I did not. So
Okay.
our swimming was always at the same time. Like our some of our VI meets, like our World Championships, was
Mm-hmm.
at the same time as that. So I chose to go to World Championships
I
instead.
don't blame you because at nationals you gonna see. Yes, I mean you got your schools going there. Everybody there going like nationals is big. I mean NCs is big because everybody there run the same time. Sorry,
Right.
they swim the same time as world champs. But it's nothing like being in the world because that's the next step. He's like, man, forget this man. I going straight to world champs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so do you remember when you qualified for Rio?
Yeah. So I remember it very well, actually.
Okay.
I so going in 2015, the summer of 2015. No, summer. Yeah, 2015. I had a couple injuries that were pretty bad. So I had to get surgery, like on my neck, and then I also had to get knee surgery. So I was doing, a lot of PT. I was kind of, I was gaining time. I was pretty upset about it, but I was putting in the work,
Wait.
and I had a pretty good season from like I guess September 2015 to December 2015.
So,
Uh,
wait.
Go ahead.
Question: Is that why you didn't make it to Pan Am Games in Toronto?
Actually, there was World Championships at the same time as well. So
Oh,
they didn't send me to that. They sent me to Worlds, and I did compete even though I had just had that surgery.
okay.
And I didn't do too bad actually. I was pretty impressed with myself because I was out of the pool for like a month.
Well, your body will go into recovery.
Yeah, I mean, I worked really hard. Like, I was on the bike every day. I was like walking through the pool, just not swimming. Like, I was trying to do everything I could to keep my feel for the water. But yeah, no, I did not go to Pan Am's.
Okay, that was a good Pan Am's. But go ahead, I listening.
So I basically every meet I had, I would get a little bit better, and I started, and then I would say in December we have like an invitational meet that is, you get to shave down and taper for. So that means you get to swim fast essentially, or just give it all.
Right, you
Um, you,
tapering. Okay.
yeah, and then I had, so because it was an Olympic year, there was like an extra meet that they had for people to qualify either for the Olympics, or if they're, from a different country, or if they wanted to qualify for the U.S. trials.
Okay.
So I went to that meet and I put down a time that was 2 seconds faster than the time. It was my best time. It was 2 seconds faster than the time I went at after my surgery at Worlds.
Okay.
I mean, and I was really happy with the time. It was a great time.
Of
And
course.
then
Mm-hmm.
I called our VISF people, the swimming federation, and I talked to them, and they said they'd let me know, and then they told me they told me I made the team.
Oh
So,
wow.
or that they would talk to the Olympic committee, and then I would hear back. But I knew that time was probably good enough.
Mm. So who gave you the call? Frank called you?
No, actually, Cynthia
Susan?
Sanis.
Okay, okay, perfect. So Mrs. Sanders called you, and she was like, Miss Watson, I got some news for you. Like, how did our phone call
Yeah,
go?
I was actually like, I think I was shopping, like Christmas shopping with my family, and I got the call, and I could just like hear it in her voice even before she told me. I
You
was
already
so
know.
happy. I was so happy, and I was around my family, so it was all like hugs and kisses and all that stuff. It was
Right.
it was really, I can still picture myself there and feel the emotions I felt
So
when she told me.
you know how the NFL draft go, and then like somebody get drafted to like the Patriots, because Patriots is my team.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Ooh, sorry about that.
so they like, yeah, Mr. Watson, you are now qualified with you. Ah, my God. So no, man, that's cool. Like that's and the thing is, why I say that is because to go through that moment now that you went through all of that, you got to a goal where you was down, you came back, and you qualify for Olympic. You know how much the percentage of people that qualify for Olympics?
They're very small.
A
I
very, very, it's like 0.000567 literally of all athletes that actually compete from all sports is literally point three zeros in there, and that's only the ones who actually kind of have a chance to even compete or at least be close to, because you could qualify for it, but if you're from America and you have
Yeah, that's
300
nothing.
people that's running the same, that's swimming the same time, it's like, well, dang, like, so although you qualify, it don't mean that you could go,
Exactly.
you know?
VI were lucky.
Yes. So being from the Virgin Island again, from the Virgin Islands once again, has a beneficial to sports, because you are
Absolutely.
able to be the only one. You could literally be the only one from your country, qualified, like fairly qualified, not qualified because you need a representative from your country. No, qualified because you made the time to qualify, and you're like, well, no, this is me. Like, this is literally me.
Yeah,
That
no,
gotta be.
it felt very good. It felt very good. Hitting that time alone, even if I hadn't gone, felt very, very good. Because going into college, I mean, I went like a 110, and this
Mm-hmm.
was a 105 low, and I, felt great.
So, how much time after you knew you was qualified did you have to go to Rio?
I had about 6 months,
Okay, so tell me what happened in
seven
this.
months.
Okay, so almost a full season.
Yeah, so basically, I finished out my college season how I normally would. But then when March came around, when the season was done, I didn't stop like everybody else does. I
Mm-hmm.
just kept going. My coach was great. He had a training plan for me.
And this was your
Um,
university coach.
yes, this is my university coach. He's absolutely amazing. He really, just from the beginning, he set expectations for myself that for me that I didn't even have for myself, and he made me really like believe that I could do it, and I appreciate him so much for that. But yeah, he set up a training plan. I did everything like 100% correct. I ate correctly. I thought about every stroke technique in practice. I went to every practice. I finished every practice, even when people weren't there. I stretched. I did extra cardio. I watched like videos in my free time of
Mm-hmm.
swimmers. Like I did mental training. Like I did everything I possibly could because I knew if I didn't, I would regret it, regardless of whatever
Oh
time I
yeah,
went in
because
Rio.
this is the big. This is, I mean, I know World Championships is cool, but the Olympics is this is the real deal. This is when everybody put their hearts out for everything they worked for in the last 4 years, and
Yeah,
you only get that 1 minute and 5 seconds to do it
yeah,
before you do it again because you got to qualify because
exactly.
it's
And
qualification is the rounds, right?
yeah, exactly. You
So
get that's all you get
that,
for all
so
that hard work.
so here's what's crazy. Well, I guess I'll talk for some of the guys who only have a short, or guys and girls who events are only a couple of seconds. You can imagine you doing all of this training for just like 10 seconds, like literally, like
Mhm.
like years just for 10 seconds. And the one slightest mistake in there could be anything, like you look to the left, or you overstride, or you choked on the water real quick, or like whatever it may be. You're like, man, like, oh my goodness, like all I did feel like it got on the road. But that's why it makes the Olympics is for the best of the best, is the world's best. So coming up now, August, well, I guess it'll be July of 2016, late July 2016, when you flying down to Rio. Tell me about that experience.
So I was flying to Rio. I
Wait,
was,
how was your flight? Because I hear a lot of stories about people flying. I mean, everybody got a flight story. So what? Tell me some of your technique in traveling, because I think athletes or national athletes have the best quote unquote theory on traveling because we do it so much that we got tips and tricks. So tell me what it is about this trip, this particular flight that made everything great, or didn't make
well,
everything great.
I just try to stay calm and just like not hope. Like this meet particularly, I wanted to get there a week ahead of my race
Oh
and
yeah.
then stay like a week after, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah, I want to get there early. I want to be able to like get used to the pool and all that stuff. But I think I just the flights don't bother me. It's more about like baggage. So I like strategically pack things in case I'm gonna like in certain bags. So in case bags get lost.
Oh yes.
Um, the flight attendants were giving me some issues on my foam roller, which they tried to say was a bag. That kind of upset me. But I
Yep.
think that was the only stressful thing was that they tried to steal my foam roller. But
Okay.
I got it on.
You know how many foam rollers I actually left at the air? Like, I bought so many foam rollers in the time when I used to run, and sometimes I appeared with somebody else's. I don't know how it happened, but every trip I always travel with a foam roller. Either come back, left it, come back with somebody else's, or like, wait a second, did I have a foam roller with me? And like,
Yeah,
yep,
you can't
it's
even remember. I know, I'm the same way.
it's right there at the bench. It's right there sitting down. All right, so you got to Rio. How was the village?
The village was great. I think a lot of people were there's a lot of negative hype, I would say, going into it about from the news and stuff. They were worried about um, it not being like it just not working, I guess, or the facilities not being nice. But I got there; it was great. The only, the I think I shared a room with Laverne. I didn't share a room. I shared like a suite with her, so we
Okay.
had a lot of space. It was just the two of us. The only complaint I would have is they didn't have hot water the first night.
What? And you from St. Croix and you ain't gonna hot water and you complaining? See, you done
Well,
gone statesman.
I had to shave my legs for the meet,
So
and
let me
you
guess.
know,
Cold water don't go good when you shaving. You need.
no, it hurt.
Oh, you see, that's the tip. That's the tip I needed. So all the people out who swimming, you need warm water, hot water, and that's gonna make
Yeah,
an easy shave. And if it's
I,
not, and if it's cold, tough luck.
yeah. No, I mean, I made it through. It was fine, but it was just that was the only thing. I think eventually it was fixed too. So it was just the night before my race. That was my only complaint.
Okay, so
Other,
now race day, literally race day. You got your uniform. Laverne should have wake up early to warm up and everything. You wake up before her. or you guys had like different time
We had
schedule?
completely different schedules.
Okay.
Because I think running was later. So
Okay.
she was still like just going to training and practicing and warming up, things like that. And I was like full in competition
Okay.
mode.
So you got this is race day now. Race day coming. You're like, all right, I got my uniform. I got everything. Got my swim cap. Cool. I just gotta go out here and do what I always do. Was your coach there?
So no, I there was a VI coach. He
Okay.
was not my coach, but I mean he was, I guess,
Right,
in
right, right.
retrospect, but like he wasn't really my coach. So I kind of did my own warm up. That my He gave me a warm up. I kind of modified it to be
Yeah. Okay.
something
Okay.
something
So
that I would
no,
do.
cause we're gonna talk about that because all right. So athletes out there, if you don't know, all right. Most of the time when athletes qualify, they usually qualify with a school, right? And when you're at a school, you have your school coach. Now, not saying that your school coach cannot come on a national meet and be your coach, but I had to get arranged to the federation and Olympic committee. Now, each federation has their own coaches, their certified coaches, and most of them going to be a level 5 coach to be Olympic coach to be there. They're going to be there, and they're different. Every coaches we know have different theories. To be a great athlete and a great coach is you respect the other coaches and the athlete. Particular, they warm ups, they what they supposed to do, what they not supposed to do, and so forth. But ahead of time, coaches should usually correspond with each other. One, and then two, as the athlete, you know what I mean. I don't want to get around message, but athletes supposed to be respectful, and like you said, you
Yeah.
modify it. And at that point, if you make it to the Olympics and you and another coach is gonna have it all like, why don't you do this and why do nah. First of all, that coach if haven't even been there the whole time you've been and you've been in college or whatever. Like at that time, the coach that's there is almost like a chaperone, but supposed to be able to know about the sport because he's supposed to help him or her is supposed to help you out. And it's supposed to be knowledgeable to be like, okay, well, here's a warm up or whatever. We usually do these for whatever club it is or whatever the case is. But like I said, you did a good job of modifying it, and that's okay because I think when you got two coaches, they should be able to talk. Here's what
Yeah.
Miss Watson did this day over here. Here's what she did over here. How she compete. Because without the athletes are the show, like we are what it is to make the show goes on, and we don't need people against arguing with each other. Like, no, she was missing compliance because she didn't do my warm up. Nah, it don't work that way. And believe me, I've heard that and I've seen it in person. And that's definitely the wrong way to go because we're crying out loud. We representing the Vojana from one country, and you worrying about what this and this. Like, come on now. So
Yeah.
I think you did a really good job of modifying it what works for you, um, and I think that was good. So that's a good shot. So young swimmers out there and athletes, y'all pay attention because that's cool. Cause they are going to run into it, and as life goes on, you're gonna have multiple coaches out there. So just be able to be coachable. And I think that would be the message in this segment to those particular athletes. So, all right, so you did the warm up, and then you modified it, and then what happened next?
I have like a routine. I go and put my suit on, I stretch, things like that. It's kind of nervous. Like it's very nerve wracking getting your suit on when you're nervous and wet because have you seen them? They're like very, very tight and they can rip really, really easily. So you kind of just got to stay cool, calm, and collected during that process. And they're also
Mm-hmm.
like $500 a piece. So
Yeah.
it's a stressful time. But honestly, all of that is kind of a blur to me until I got to the ready room. And in the ready room, I think I could imagine the whole entire 7 minutes I could visualize in my head. I was so nervous. You said it earlier. World Championships is World Championships, and it's kind of similar to the Olympics.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
it's the same exact meet. The same
It
swimmers
is.
are
It's
there.
all right.
The
It
same,
really is. It's just the name
but
changes
it's
and it's a bigger
right.
stage.
It's 100% different. Like it's the same exact meet, but now the entire world is watching. Like
Yep.
never before had anybody else cared about my swimming at World Championships, but this they cared about. Like people were messaging me on Facebook that I had never met before, or like friends of my parents, like, the shout outs and everything. So I knew, like, and it's so much. And to represent your country at the Olympics, it is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I was nervous. I was really
No,
nervous. I
that's
remember I could look down and like
mm-hmm.
see my legs shaking. I knew some of the girls that I was competing against because, the same girl. A couple of them were from the Caribbean, but a couple of them I just like raced at World Championships before. So I knew who they were, and I was still nervous.
Nah, that's cool, and that's perfectly normal. And I think what it is too is like you said, being in that room. I mean, the nerves is there, but that's normal. Like you're supposed to be nervous. You're supposed like
Yeah.
this is the show, but you still gotta know you always doing what you always been doing. There's nothing different in there. Just a bigger show, bigger lights, and everybody. But you literally have everybody's support.
Yeah.
And you have not that you didn't have your country support during World Championships, but you really got your country support now at the Olympic Games because it's us versus the world. And like
Right.
we said, in a couple of months, it's about to be that chance again, and we got some athletes that's going to be qualifying in the next quarter. Let me see, that's 7 months away. Same time when you qualify, 7 months
Yeah.
away, and it's like a replay. So I'm glad that we able to get to discuss this right here. Man, but well, before we go back, let's go on to the next segment. Take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back in VIOC in action with my girl Miss Watson, letting us know how the vibe go down literally seconds before she gotta go after Rio 2020 inside of the pool and mash up the people and ahoy. Hey, welcome back to VIOC in action. Happy New Year's once again to everybody. Hey, Happy New Year's 2020 is here. This is the big year, Tokyo 2020. We coming for our man. All the VI representatives gonna be over there in Tokyo in Japan, live in the building, representing for the Virgin Islands in the biggest stage. Did y'all know the Olympics is the biggest stage, like the biggest event across the world? Literally. And guess who's a part of that? Yep, you already know, the Virgin Islands. All right, so Miss Watson, let me talk to you for a second here, right? Last like in the last segment, we're telling everybody you was moments about from swimming. When you got, once they call your name, you got out to your lane. Do you remember what lane you was in?
Oh, I think it was 7.
All right, sound good to me. 7 lane, you got out there, and it was like it was showtime. At this
Yep.
point, now tell me about it.
It was good. I got in. I was perfectly adjusted. Because I start from in the water, so it kind of takes a little bit of the nerves off. I
Mm-hmm.
would say based on backstroke is just, I don't know. It's starting in the water is just easier in my opinion.
Okay.
On the nerves, set my thing up. I
The
don't even know
ladder.
how to describe it. It's like
The
the
ladder, right?
backstroke
You gotta do
wedge.
the ladder thing and
Yeah,
okay.
the backstroke wedge. Yeah, and I did my race. First 50 meters felt okay. Second 50 meters felt good. I looked at the time. They felt okay. I was tired. I was putting a lot of work in. It felt harder, I think, than some of the races I've done before. Like my legs were more tired at the end. Like I was giving it everything I possibly had.
That's mm-hmm.
And then I got to the wall. And that was it. I saw my time, and I was honestly a little disappointed in it because of it was 2 seconds slower than my qualifying time.
Yeah, but that could
And
have been anything.
it
That
could
time.
have been.
So here's the thing, though. All right, although because everybody wants the PR or personal best at every race they do, but here's the thing: at races, when you win the competition, it's all about getting through the rounds because a lot of times they don't necessarily PR or season best until the finals or what it is. But one of the tricks is finding a way to get through the rounds, and that's just a little trick. If you make it to the quote unquote rounds, and you say, okay, well let me see how fast I gotta do. But hey, you did it. It was great. You competed. It makes you Olympian because you could go to the Olympics, but you know what makes you an Olympian?
What?
You have to start the race.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you don't
That's true.
start the race and you go there and you're in the line and you DQ, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
All right,
true.
there it is. So congratulations on 2020 Rio. How was Rio, by the way?
Rio was great. Afterwards, I saw my family. We went to dinner, but then at like the week after, I got to go to all the Olympic events, which was
Yes.
so much fun. So I saw the women's gymnastics team round,
Mm-hmm.
which was amazing. Got to see Simone Biles kill it and everybody else, but she was all the hype. That was so much fun. I every night I would go to the swimming finals, and swimming's a pretty popular sport to watch during the Olympics. Like a lot of people enjoy watching swimming. I think ever since Michael Phelps, I think he's really like made it a spectator sport per se.
Mm-hmm.
So like all the USA basketball team was there all the time. Like I was sitting right next to Kevin Durant. Like it was cool. It was very very cool.
Nah. I think that's is unique what you say that. So when I look at swimming and track and field, I see them hand in hand because we literally running in rows in lines.
Yeah.
And believe me, like everybody always feel like when as soon as you about to get to the finish line, you could literally either hear the crowd or don't hear the crowd because sometimes you just in tunnel vision
Mhm.
and you still get the same excitement when they finish and it's just like yeah that's cool. I love it. I love it. All right, so you did that. And then you wait after 2020. Did you continue to swim again?
2016.
Sorry, 2016. Did you
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you okay?
So
So
I had a year left of college.
okay.
So I did a year of college swimming. It was great. I had a really good year. I like broke the school record, and I definitely was coming off Rio. And some people I think get sick of training after the Olympics. I didn't. I was excited. But when I was done my swimming career, I mean when I was done the like NCAA career, I thought about doing another World Championships in Budapest, but it was that or kind of get relax and get into gear for law school.
Uh huh.
So that's what I decided to do. I decided to retire. I was
Did
happy with the way I went out, Olympics and then a school record, and I was like, I think this is a good way to end.
Hey, I do not blame you at all. Let me tell you that. Like finishing on a good one. Um, I think that's what it is. You came out there. Look where you started at, and look where you how far you came. And I know you are and is inspiring a lot of youth swimmers in our region and across. Because I mean, think about it. The year before you qualify, you were hurt. You were literally injured,
Yeah,
two injuries. When people see injuries, they think, "Oh my goodness, my life is over. I ain't gonna be able to do this no more." But
that's what it felt like.
I know, like, imagine if you just had a sprained hamstring, like a hamstring. You're
Yeah,
like, "Oh my goodness, like I'm never gonna run again." But that's the part about being an athlete, man. Literally putting your body on the line and you going out there and go for it.
yeah.
Um, so let me ask, during so after you finished, you hung up everything. Do you still swim when you come back down here in the Virgin Islands, or when you wait? Let me see. Is the Dolphins in St. Croix, right?
Yeah. They're in St. Croix. No, yeah, I do. I actually, so that summer, I was in St. Croix all summer, and I was kind of just like working at a restaurant and working at IB Designs, just to kind of pass the time before I went to law school.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of took off swimming. I swam a little bit, but then when I got back, I missed it. So I got back in the pool, and I swam about like 4 or 5 times a week when I was there in a couple weeks. When I was there last week, I was
Yeah.
swimming a lot with the team. I kind of just hop in with them. I don't swim masters or anything. I literally just hop in with the team that swims now. Like whoever's like, there's some 12-year-olds. We have a great time.
Oh, see the same how you started when
Yep.
you had the you was better than the X amount and then I put in front, but now you there helping them out. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
no, we do clinics and stuff. Like I'll come and I'll do a clinic for the kids where just to, their coach is great. Coach Brian is great, but it's nice to hear things from a different perspective or a different coach.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get bored of the same coach.
You
So
do, you really do, but that's the part about sports is that not that I mean everybody remember it's so many athletes across or so many coaches different regions. like it's so many techniques. So it's just not saying that this one thing always work, but here's just to be aware of something else, you know.
Exactly.
And sometimes, like you say, you do get tired of hearing the same thing from this one coach. I ain't like, look, I just tired of hearing your moat, man. You could, how about somebody else tell me, and they could tell me the same thing, and I'm gonna
And it
say,
would be
cool.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, because that's just true. I mean, that's literally how it happened. All right, no, that's cool. What? So here's what's funny now. As you say, you go back there, or you went back and you was in there with a 12-year-old swimming, and that's great. So what they asked me around the island, because I really, when I retired from track and field, I really retired. Like I was like, man, I ain't gotta wake up 5:30, 4:30 in the morning and go train no 2 days. But you end up do missing it a little bit, and every now and then I will go out to the truck, and don't want to go out there and run, but I go out
Right.
there and I do help, or if I see something wrong with some of the athletes, um, with permission from the coach, because I know how it
Mhm.
could get. Hey coach, man, I'm just here to look, or I'm just, I might just like, I went from running to like walking, you know what I mean? And he seemed like, I'm like, dude, like you are sprinting a jumper, like what are you doing? But no, like I just taking the easy lane, and I look and really want to help the kids them out there, and I'll see some. I'm not gonna say that a lot of them look bad, but I'll see some
Yeah.
mistakes, and like, hey, just try this right here, and then they'll come up to me like, what the heck worked them, man, like how you do that there? I was like, man,
Mhm.
just booming. Sometimes be the slightest thing, and and that's the part, because I remember when I was there, and somebody would see me training, because we know this is an individual sport. So when they see me training when I was back in the day, and they'll be like, yo, maybe you change this or whatever. And then we're like, okay, and then what? And it works. So it's like giving back to the community, you know?
Absolutely. That, and I remember the same thing for me too. When I was younger, I when they would come, like if they ever got anybody from the states, or like different coaches would come and do a clinic, I remember those more than anything. The things that they told me, I still to this day remember. The technique advice. It was wonderful. So anything that I could do for the kids back home is makes it, I don't know. It's fulfilling.
Well, that's great. So, hey, anytime you back home, and let me know, man. We could always set up some stuff through the Athletes Commission.
Oh yeah.
We actually, as you know, we actually, the viewers don't know, but we do have the Virgin Island Athletes Commission, where also the president of that, which is pretty much the voice of the athletes, and any of their concerns or anything that you may want to do for them, or if you come back home, just to even not let them know that you're here, and just let us know, we'll set up everything, and then we'll be good to go. And I know the athletes here will love it,
Yeah, for sure.
you know. So, all right. So let me ask now. So, is there anywhere, any place everybody can find you? Social media. What's your plug?
Sure. I'm on Facebook,
Okay.
so you just Caylee Watson, CayleeWatson. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I think my handle is Caylee Victoria. I have to think about it, but I think it is just one word.
Okay.
Um, I am not really an active Twitter user, but I have email too. You can always hit me up through Facebook, and I can give you my private email address.
All right. There it is. If you need any information about swimming, my girl Miss Watson got you. It's all
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
Hey man, that's cool. Really appreciate you being on the show today. Like I said, it is quote unquote New Year's 2020. You are the first guest that's on our show for the 2020, and like I said, it's very unique and special, because you are an Olympian, and this is Olympian year. This is a Olympic year, and I'll try my best all season to gain as much Olympians, so they can kind of share their story. Cause a lot of us really don't, what I mean? We see in the daily news, we see a picture like, yeah, she was there, she did this, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So you get to hear it here live, which on the show VIOC in action, and that's how it goes. So we'll try to have you back again, sometime spring or summer or whatever the case may be, and we're gonna go
Yeah, of
from there.
course.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, man. Hey, and you guys out there, if you want to reach me, catch me at Instagram at B17BOOKIE, Or you could log on to our Facebook page, Virgin Islands Olympic Committee. You could go on there, send me a message, whatever that case is. Or we do use Twitter over here in the Twitter land. If you do want to use Twitter, it's two things about Twitter. You could do at Team ISV, and at Team ISV usually means for sports because that's our code, our abbreviation for international. And then you can also use Team VI, which is general, but hey, we are VI all around anyway, VI all around. So, hey, so any one of them, Team ISV and Team VI, we know what you're talking about. Shoot us a hashtag or at whatever it is, and we'll be all good to go, you know? All right, so catch us next week, and thank you guys for logging in to VIOC in action. This your boys, Mr. Leon Hunt, Ras Books. One time for the one time count, cool count, quench. Until the next show, Happy New Year's 2020. Tokyo, we coming for you. Ha ha!